Welcome to our crown molding LED lighting video. I've had customers ask me, what's the difference in inexpensive and high quality LED lighting systems? Well, I'm going to try to explain this to you as simply as I can without being too technical. There are four components that make up a good LED lighting system. The first is a good LED lighting strip. The second is the chips on the strip. The third is a power supply that is matched up to the wattage of the strip. And the fourth is a good dimmer that operates correctly and can dim your lights up and down without no pulsing or flickering. It's important to buy a quality LED lighting strip for your project. You want it to last, you want good light, and you want good color. I'm going to show you a cheap strip that comes from eBay or Amazon. It's very lightweight, it's very thin. It's just like a wet noodle because there's hardly any copper put into this strip. And this is like an $8, $10, $12 strip. Now, when they get the price down on these things, to drive that price down, what they do is they stretch the distance between the chips on the strip, and that way they can make it longer and keep the price down. But what that does for you is when you look at your ceiling light, you'll see the light in a scallop just bouncing across the ceiling. That's because your chips are too far apart. Another thing about these strips and the way they cut the price down on them is they make them narrower and thinner. They're not made for long distance runs. Here's an example. If you start a strip at 0 and feed it with power, and you go to 16 feet, which is the length of one strip, you're going to find out you're going to lose 20% of your light. If you go from that 16-foot mark to a 32-foot mark, you're going to lose 40% of your light. And from the 32 to 48 feet, you're more than likely going to have no light because the power is going to go out because there's not enough copper in it to bring the current to all the chips. Here's our strip. You can see how stiff it is and how much copper's in this strip. Another thing that you want to watch for, and a lot of manufacturers do not even have UL or any other certifications on their strips. You can see on our strips, we have the UL logo on them and the testing number on each one of those. All these have been tested thoroughly. The chips on an LED strip are very important. On a cheap strip, you can see straight through the chip and to the back of it. And the copper in it is so thin that the chip cannot dissipate the heat and stay cool and keep the voltage up and give you good light. Our strips are made heavy. We use one of the top manufacturers in the world to manufacture our chips for our strips. So we can run with this heavy copper up to 60 feet and only have a 10% power loss, which is fantastic with LED strips. Choosing the right power supply for your LED lighting project is very important. That you choose one that the wattage matches your LED strips. And you will get better light output, it'll run cooler, and longer life. The first I want to show you is the most common little power supply on the market that you see everywhere, Amazon, eBay, or everywhere. And it has a little mono plug on the end. Now, I remember taking this and plugging this into my laptop when they first came out. I also use this power supply today in like little label printers, things that have low wattage to them. These brick systems, a lot of them say UL coming out of China, and they're not. They heat up and they'll burn out in the back. The reason for that is they are not normally thermally protected or short circuit protected. I would never put this in any LED lighting in my home. Now, this is a 96 watt transformer. This is our 96 watt transformer. You can see the sizes of them. So there's more into it that makes a better power supply. These power supplies that we sell are thermally protected. If they get too hot, they'll cut off. If they get a short circuit, they'll cut off. And when the short is cleared, they'll start working again. Choosing the right power supply for your LED lighting system is very important. Some power supplies are solid state and some are magnetic, and you must choose the right dimmer for each application. The first thing I want to show you is the most common inexpensive dimmer that you see on the market today. I'm bringing this up because a lot of people want to use this little system. This is actually the dimmer for these little cheap lights that you see, eBay, Amazon, etc. And it hooks up to that little brick with the mono plug, and the other end goes to your LED lighting strip. Now, the way that this functions, it has a little module right here, and that's what does all of the dimming. And it's controlled by one of these little LED lighting remote controls. Now what happens in here is when you take this control and you start dimming it up or down, you're making the electronics in here change. So if you have your light at 100%, this little electronic control in here is letting 100% of the power flow through. If you decide to dim your lights down 25% with a little controller, you're now taking the electricity and just turning it on, off, on, off, on, off. Now, if you dim it down to 50%, it's on, off, faster, faster, faster the more you dim it down. And you're just chopping that current to your chips and you're beating them to death. You're running your chips. Also, when your light level goes down so low, you'll look at the strip and you'll see the light just pulsing. It's just vibrating. This is a dimmer that I just got through showing you with a little chip in it. This is our dimmer. You can see the size of them. This is a real dimmer. It's made with good high quality circuits in it. And what that allows you to achieve with your LED lighting is to get a good current or the good electricity to flow through the strip. And it doesn't chop it. It's very easy and soft on the strip. Now, a good way to explain that to you is if you were to take a faucet in your house and turn the water all the way, the flow is nice and smooth out of the faucet. If you want to dim your lights a little bit, it's just like pulling that faucet down. You still have a steady stream of water, but it's smaller. Now, this dimmer can be used as a manual dimmer. It has a little rocker on the side that you can adjust it up and down. And it can also be used on your smart apps like Alexa and Google. This is our wireless LED dimmer switch. It requires no wiring, no electricity, or not even a simple battery. It requires no modems, Wi-Fi signals, or routers to operate. It works like a manual dimmer switch does. You can dim it up or down, and you can preset your light levels, and when you turn it on or off, it goes right back to where you had it at. It mounts to a wall on a junction box, or you can mount it on a wall and put your cover plate on it. Works just fine. We have a module that goes with it, and the signal goes from here to the module, but you don't have to worry about wiring this module in. We pre-wire this in to your power supply, so all you have to do is mount your switch and it's ready to operate. Now, this switch is really, really handy if you have a situation where your electrical costs are prohibitive or you can't reach into your walls or your ceiling to do the wiring. This is a really good solution for that. Another thing I want to bring to your attention is there are people selling a wireless switch, and the problem with it is it doesn't dim, and it's just an on and off. And some of them, they say, do not require electricity, but they do require a hearing aid battery. Thank you for watching our video. I hope that I've answered the questions that you might have between inexpensive and higher quality LED lighting systems. We do offer a high quality system at a very reasonable price. We offer you custom design, tech support, and blueprints. Our systems also have a 5-year warranty. Our systems will last you many, many years with good lighting. So I look forward to hearing from you, and please contact us if we can give you a free quote. Thank you.